As a person, one thing that I have definitely learned in my life, it seems like it's a life of self-examination and self-healing of myself bit by bit, day by day.
You know what I want to think of myself? As a human being. Because, I mean, I don't want to sound like, as Confucius says, but under the sky, under the heaven, man, there is but one family. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now, you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now, water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
I was there to push people beyond what's expected of them. I believe that is an absolute necessity. Otherwise, we're depriving the world, the next Charlie Parker.
But is there a line? Maybe you go too far and you discourage the next Charlie Parker from ever becoming Charlie Parker?
No, man, no. Because the next Charlie Parker would never be discouraged.
How one uses one's attention, moment to moment, largely determines what kind of person one becomes. Our minds and lives are largely shaped by how we use them.
We have a decision that we can make in terms of the input that we're going to put in. But you can't expect to be great if you have an average week, if you have average input, if you have an average weekend. You're putting in 40 hours during the week and you expect to be great? You have this sense of entitlement inside you? No, your input needs to be great. Your input needs to excel. Your input needs to be phenomenal, outstanding compared to what everybody else's is. That means the time that you put in, the effort that you put in, all of that sweat equity. What are you investing? What are you doing different? You need to stop being so afraid of being uncomfortable. When you get the little voices that come on, these self-doubts that say, I don't know if I can do it. Your brain is a survival mechanism, so it's always going to pick the easier alternative. When something is challenging, when there's something hard, it's going to always pick the easier choice. Well, we don't have to do it because it's not part of your survival. But being great is not about surviving. It's about thriving.
You don't have to fight, and fight, and fight, and fight.
If you want to be great, change your input. Something's got to be different in terms of the time you put in and the effort you put in. That needs to be great for you to be great.
The only thing keeping you from getting what you want is the story you keep telling yourself about why you don't have it. And if you don't have what you want, stop telling yourself the story because you don't have the money, you don't have the time. That's bullshit. It's because you haven't committed yourself where you would burn your boats. If you want to take the fucking island, burn your fucking boats.
No more excuses, just adjustments. And remember,
people, when they're going to either die or succeed, tend to succeed.
you're not average. Why you being average? You not average. Why you being good when you not good? You great. When you gonna step up to the plate? Because there's some things in life you're not going to get. They're not coming to you. You got to go take it. There's some stuff, if you're going to get it, you got to will to get it. You got to get your weight up. Get your weight up. Execution is worship. So from this day forward, we will execute. I will execute. I will execute.
Somehow we've come to believe that greatness is a gift, reserved for a chosen few. You can forget that. Greatness is not some rare DNA strand. We're all capable of it. All of us.
Muscle memory. What am I saying to you? Muscle memory. E.T., why you keep saying muscle memory? What does that mean? It means repetition. You do it over and over and over and over again. 3 things, over and over and over again. To what? Till it becomes a part of who you are. I'm talking about bicycle riding. Oh, you're not hearing me. Success. Look, I ain't rode a bike in I don't know how long. But when I first learned how to do it, I did it so many times. I failed and got back up. I failed and got back up, right? Then I went for a couple feet, then I failed, right? And the bike is going all over the place. I can't hardly, but then eventually I got it. My balance, I got it. Roller skating, I got it. And if you tell me to get on the bike right now, and I ain't been on the bike in about 3 or 4 years, I'll get on it, boom, and I guarantee you I can ride it. You put some skates on me, I guarantee, boom, I can do it. That's why you're not successful. You keep stopping and starting and stopping and starting and stopping and starting. Listen to me, I'm telling you to stop, but I'm telling you one motion. 21 days, you fall, you get right back up. Don't stop for a week. Don't stop for a month. Don't stop for a year. You fail a class, you go right back and take it again. Don't stop. Don't drop out of school. Don't quit. Don't give up. Why? Muscle memory. And what happens is you got to get it. Muscle memory, what happens is you do it over and over and over. Every time you're getting better and better and better, and repetition deepens the impression. What happens is in your mind, those motor skills, you start implanting that thing. You do it over and over and over and over and over again. You start implanting stuff, and then boom, memory kicks in. And what happens is you start doing it so much that it becomes subconscious. You don't have to do it anymore, right? I'm talking about Michael Jordan, that's right. I'm talking about Kobe putting up 82. I'm talking about LeBron putting up numbers. Listen to me, I'm talking about Carmelo Anthony putting up numbers, right? They don't even know how they did it. But what happens is they play the game so much, they practice so much, they do a certain routine over and over and over again till they get in the game and they start shooting the rock, and guess what happens? It just started going in. That's why coach said, practice those free throws, right? You practice them over and over and over again. So when you get in the game, I don't care what the circumstances are, boom, you're able to get it right. Muscle memory. Coach tell you, do the same thing. If you do 2 here, 1 there, boom, do it the exact same way every day. So what happened was, nope, I'm not the most smartest. Nope, I've never been valedictorian. Nope, I've never been summa cum laude or magna cum laude. Nope, but I have been repetition laude. I do it over and over and over again. So 4 years doing TGIM. So when I speak now, I don't even have to think about it. That's why I don't use no notes, right? Because I've done it over and over and over. And the reason why you're not doing well in math, because you're doing it and then you coming up, I need you to do it over and over and over. You're just doing it for the assignment. You're just doing it for the test. And when you stop doing it, you forget it because you didn't do it over and over. So muscle memory. I'm about to teach you how to be successful. I want you to do that thing so many times. 365. Listen to me, over and over and over and over and over again. So it gets to a point where you master it, where it gets to a point where you're a guru, where it gets to a point you're dreaming about it. Are you hearing me? I speak in my sleep. I dream motivational presentations. Are you hearing me? I see myself on a plane when I'm asleep. I'm not talking about daydreaming. I'm actually doing a presentation before I do it. So I'm leaving you with that. It's not a long one. I'm telling you the reason why you're not successful is because you stopping. E.T., man, why am I not successful? Because you stopping, because you quitting, because you giving up, because you giving in. And I want you to do is I want you to muscle memory. I want you to practice that thing every single day. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, 21, 31, 45, 50 days in a row.
The following is a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. There is a time in every man's education when he arrives at the conviction that imitation is suicide, that though the wide universe is full of good, no kernel of nourishing corn can come to him but through his toil bestowed on that plot of ground which is given to him to till. The power which resides in him is new in nature, and none but he knows what that is which he can do, nor does he know until he has tried.
During your contacts with Mr. Edison, did you get the impression that he was handicapped by his deafness?
No, on the contrary, much to my surprise, I discovered that Mr. Edison's deafness was a blessing instead of a curse, because he found the seed of an equivalent benefit that his deafness yielded, and made astounding use of that seed. Oh, once I asked Mr. Edison if his deafness were not a handicap, and he said, no, it is a blessing instead, because it has taught me to hear from within.
Well, just what did Mr. Edison mean by that remark?
Well, he meant that his deafness had caused him to develop his sixth sense, through which he obviously learned how to tune in and to make contact with sources of knowledge outside of that available through the 5 physical senses. It was from these outside sources that he got much of the knowledge which made him the greatest inventor of all times. And while I'm on this subject, may I tell you that throughout the 20 years I spent in analyzing successful people to learn what made them tick, I discovered that successful people almost invariably were successful in exact proportion to the extent that they had met and mastered obstacles and defeat.
Well, how do you explain this?
It can be explained by considering that nature has so arranged the affairs of men that strength grows out of struggle. If men had no problems and were never forced to exert themselves, they would atrophy and wither away through disuse of their brain cells, the same as would happen with an arm or a leg if it were not given exercise. Nature penalizes people for neglect to properly use their physical bodies, as everyone knows. And the same is true of the brain cells with which we think. If we do not use the mind, it becomes lazy and unreliable. Human problems force people to develop their minds through use.
This is a common occurrence in history. Almost all great military and political triumphs are preceded by some kind of crisis. That is because a substantial victory can only come out of a moment of danger and attack. Without these moments, leaders are never challenged, never get to prove themselves. If the path is too smooth, they grow arrogant and make a fatal mistake. The fearless types require some kind of adversity against which they can measure themselves. The tenseness of such dark moments brings out their creativity and urgency, making them rise to the occasion and turn the tide of fortune from defeat to a great victory. You must adopt an attitude that is the opposite to how most people think and operate. When things are going well, that is precisely when you must be concerned and vigilant. You know it will not last, and you will not be caught unprepared. When things are going badly, that is when you are most encouraged and fearless. Finally, you have material for a powerful reversal, a chance to prove yourself. It is only out of danger and difficulty that you can rise at all. By simply embracing the moment as something positive and necessary, you have already converted it into gold.
Commencing restoration. You You ain't gonna believe this. But you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up and say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. But until you start believing in yourself, you ain't gonna have a life.
Whatever you're doing, stop doing what you're doing. I got a question for you. What do you want? It's real simple. What do you want? Because there's some things in life you're not going to get. They're not coming to you. You got to go take it. There's some stuff that you can't even just earn by doing the good things. It's not going to happen with you in the bed dreaming about it. It's not going to happen with you in the shower thinking about it. Sometimes you just got to will it. You can stay where you are. You can. But you can't stay where you are and try to go where you're going. So what sacrifices this year are you willing to make? Because there's somebody out there who wants your spot. There's somebody else trying to get a scholarship. You're not the only one trying to go to Yale. You're not the only one trying to go to the NBA. You're not the only one trying to go to the NFL. I'm asking that the 24 hours in your life be very intentional, very deliberate, that you be very strategic. I'm asking that the entire week, 7 days, you're very deliberate about what time you wake up. You're very deliberate about what time you go to bed. You're very deliberate about what you eat, what you don't eat. Why? Because every day matters. That's right. Every day matters. And so you got to embody excellence. Every single day has to be excellent. Every single day you wake up, you got to give it all you got. You got it 120%. And so you got to change your mindset. We got to stop looking at pain as if it's something negative. All roads to success, you got to go through pain. When you travel down success, you got to go through the road of pain, baby. If it was easy, everybody would do it. It only takes one extra push-up. It only takes one extra mile. It only takes one extra grade. It only takes one extra effort. It only takes one extra something to get you to where you're trying to get to. And the goal is, you got to go a little further than the man who's trying to get what you're trying to get. You got to stay up a little longer. It's not going to be easy. But I want you to feel that pain going through your body. And as pain leaves your body, guess what's going to take its place? Success. You deserve to be a millionaire. You deserve to take trips. You deserve to live the life that you want to live.
human mind can build cities. An idea can transform the world and rewrite all the rules. A simple little idea that would change everything.
But this is only the beginning. This is not the end. And if you work through your pain, on the other side is a reward. And you're going to prove to everybody that tried to break you, everybody that tried to stop you, everybody that tried to kill your dreams, you're going to prove all of them wrong. You're bigger than your pain. You're better than that. I use the pain to push me to greatness. Don't give up. I'm telling you right now, don't give in. Get through it. When you change your mindset, one of the things I want you to do is I want you to embrace the challenge. This is the year to do something you've never done before. This is your year to think in a way you've never thought before. This is your year to accomplish what you've never accomplished before.
You do not know where your decisions come from. They pop up like hiccups. And when you make a decision, people have a great deal of anxiety about making decisions. Did I think this over long enough? Did I take enough data into consideration? And if you think it through, you find you never could take enough data into consideration. The data for a decision in any given situation is infinite. So what you do is, you go through the motions of thinking out what you will do about this. But warriors are people who think of all the variables beyond their control and what might happen.
Choice is the act of hesitation that we make before making a decision. It is a mental wobbling. And so we are always in a dither of doubt as to whether we're behaving the right way, doing the right thing, and so on and so forth, and lack a certain kind of self-confidence. And if you see you lack self-confidence, you will make mistakes through sheer fumbling. If you do have self-confidence, you may get away with doing entirely the wrong thing. You have to regard yourself as a cloud in the flesh, because you see, clouds never make mistakes. Did you ever see a cloud that was misshapen? Did you ever see a badly designed wave? No, they always do the right thing. But if you will treat yourself for a while as a cloud or wave and realize that you can't make a mistake, whatever you do, because even if you do something that seems to be totally disastrous, it'll all come out in the wash somehow or other. Then, through this capacity, you will develop a kind of confidence. And through confidence, you will be able to trust your own intuition. Now, this is the middle way of knowing it has nothing to do with your decision to do this or not. Whether you decide that you can't make a mistake or whether you don't decide it, it's true anyway. You are like cloud and water. And through that realization, without overcompensating in the other direction, you will come to the point where you begin to be on good terms with your own being and to be able to trust your own brain.
Each of these lives is the right one. Every path is the right path. Everything could have been anything else, and it would have just as much meaning.
isn't a separate you. Your mind is what there is, everything.
How can you keep an attitude of doing it all and doing it now? How can you make the choice of discipline over procrastination? How can you stay focused on your ambitions? How can you avoid conversations at the water cooler? You can keep your focus on your work. You can get it done today instead of tomorrow. You've got to really work on your consistent self-discipline on a daily basis, or you'll find yourself distracted. Distracted by negative thoughts, distracted by negative people, distracted by water cooler chatter, and pretty soon, depending on the type of people you've associated with, distracted by your doubts within yourself. Never underestimate the power of influence and association. And never underestimate the power of your own consistent self-discipline.
Take it. You must master it.
Make a choice, right? You just decide what it's going to be, who you're going to be, how you're going to do it. Just decide. And then from that point, the universe is going to get out your way. It's like it's water. It wants to move and go around stuff, you know.
You know, there's a flow of the universe that I've grown to know just how to go with it.
I realize that when to have the level of success that I want to have, it's difficult to spread it out and do multiple things. It takes such a desperate, obsessive focus. You really got to focus with all of your fiber and all of your heart and all of your creativity.
I see it as our responsibility to show the world that what's seen as impossible can become that new normal. And that's already starting to happen. First, to do the things that inspire us, so we can inspire other people to do the things that inspire them.
If you want to make a difference, all you got to do is one thing. This is how you get started. You want something different, listen to me. All you got to do is make a decision. That's it. And for those of you who've been making the wrong decision, all you got to do is make the right decision. But if you want to make a difference, make a decision. Are you hearing what I'm telling you?
Everything was impossible until somebody did. You can either hang around people who tell you it can't be done until you're stupid for trying, or surround yourself with people who inspire possibility. And as we finish up, I have just one question to ask you guys, and I think it's the only question that matters. And it's, what is the work you can't not do? Discover that. Live it. Not just for you, but for everybody around you. Because that is what starts to change the world.
Here's the thing that makes life so interesting. The theory of evolution claims only the strong shall survive. Maybe so. Maybe so. But the theory of competition says just because they're the strong doesn't mean they can't get their asses kicked. That's right. See, what every long shot come from behind underdog will tell you is this. The other guy may in fact be the favorite. The odds may be stacked against you, fair enough. But what the odds don't know is this isn't a math test. This is a completely different kind of test. One where passion has a funny way of trumping logic. So before you step up to the starting line, before the whistle blows and the clock starts ticking, just remember out here,
the results don't always add up. No matter what the stats may say, and the experts may think, and the commentators may have predicted, when the race is on, all bets are off. Don't be surprised if somebody decides to flip the script and take a pass on yelling uncle. And then suddenly, as the old saying goes, we got ourselves a game.
I didn't want to just be a bodybuilding champion. I wanted to be the best bodybuilder of all times. Dig deep down and ask yourselves, who do you want to be? Not what, but who. I'm talking about figuring out for yourselves what makes you happy. You have to think outside the box. That's what I believe. After all, what is the point of being on this earth if all you want to do is be liked by everyone and avoid trouble? We have so many rules in life about everything. I say break the rules, not the law, but break the rules. I remember that after I was finished with my bodybuilding career, I wanted to get into acting. I wanted to be a star in films. Everyone had the same mind that it can't be done. Just look at your body. You have this huge, monstrous body and overly developed that doesn't fit into the movies. But, I didn't listen to orders. These were their rules. I was convinced I could do it. And then I got a big break in Conan the Barbarian. Trust yourself no matter what anyone else thinks. And there the director said if we wouldn't have Schwarzenegger, we would have to build one. Then when I did Terminator, I'll be back. One of the most famous lines in movie history, all because of my crazy accent. It just shows you never listen that you can't do something. Don't be afraid to fail. Anything I've ever attempted, I was always willing to fail. Don't be afraid of making decisions. You can't be paralyzed by fear of failure, or you will never push yourself. You keep pushing because you believe in yourself and in your vision. And you know that it's the right thing to do, and success will come, so don't be afraid to fail. I mean, how many times have you heard that you can't do this, and you can't do that, and it's never been done before? So pay no attention to the people that say it can't be done. If I would have listened to the naysayers, I would still be in the Austrian Alps yodeling. I would never have come to America. I always listen to myself and say, yes, you can. You never want to fail because you didn't work hard enough. Work your butt off. I always believe leaving no stone unturned. No pain, no gain. When you're out there partying, horsing around, someone out there at the same time is working hard. Someone is getting smarter and someone is winning. Just remember that. Can't climb the ladder of success with your hands in the pocket.
First we started slow, we started real slow. And that's all right. That's okay, because sometimes in life we're going to start slow. That's okay. We told ourselves, hey, we're going to start slow, we're going to keep going fast. No matter what the score was, we're going to finish hard, we're going to finish fast.
They had us. We weren't defeated, but they had us. But it took guts, it took an attitude. That's all it takes. That's all it takes to be successful is an attitude.
Look at the small things of life. How do you do that? What I'm saying is the character of who you are. It's not the title that makes you. It's not the success that makes you. The character defines the success, defines the fame, and it starts right there. Championships aren't won in the theater or the arena. They're won in the thousands of hours in the training room, the labs, and the 5 a.m. runs, and it's raining, when everyone else is sleeping. That's when it's won. The heart of a champion is a light switch that's always on. It doesn't go on and off when someone's watching. It's constant.
Hey, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard. You're gonna go out there, you're gonna battle, you're gonna fight. You're gonna do it for one another. Do it for each other, you're gonna do it for yourself, you're gonna do it for us, and you're gonna go out with this win. It's an awesome feeling when you truly believe that you're going to be successful. Regardless of the situation, regardless of the scoreboard, you're going to be successful because you put in all the time, all the effort, all the hard work, and you know that it's going to pay off.
The champions, guys, it's not the potential, it's not the genetics. It's their perseverance to always show up, always willing to fail, because in failure, that's part of success. Success is not, a marathon of life with just ups. Success is formulated through failures, through facing your fears, through falling down and getting back up. That's what creates a champion. Success is not defined, we define as success.
You can do anything you put your mind to. Never give up on your dreams. Keep smiling. No matter what you're going through, if you fall down, just get up. If you can't get up, your friends are there to help you up. Your mama's there, your daddy's there, God's there. Hey, I'm there to help you up. You're there. It's going to be all right. Just keep smiling, man.
We don't beat the Reaper by living longer. We beat the Reaper by living well and living fully. For the Reaper will come for all of us. The question is, what do we do between the time we're born and the time he shows up? Because when he shows up, it's too late to do all the things that you're always going to kind of get around to. It is not the things we do in life that we regret on our deathbed. It is the things we do not.
Only you yourself can fire you up. Challenge yourself more. Get creative. Create projects and small adventures that lead you to the grand vision you want. None of this has to be experienced as pressure, ever. If it's not fun, you're not doing it right. So forget considerations of happiness and just get into action. Happiness is something you notice you are feeling later, after you've been in action for a while. It's not something to worry about ahead of time. And don't hold your happiness hostage to the achievement of a long-term goal. If you do that, your happiness is always in the future, always a hostage. And the future doesn't exist right now, does it?
The thing to realize is that fear, that's the worst of it. That's the real enemy.
What's happening here?
Some of the greatest thinkers, artists, architects, politicians, and other movers, shakers, and creators all over the world have come from very meager beginnings. Just because you come from nothing, you must not let that be something that holds you back.
Success, for those with the courage to pursue it, is the goal of life.
At the outset, keep in mind that the size of your success is limited only by the size of your thinking. If you think small, with small ideas and small ambitions, then your success in turn will be small. But if you think big and believe in yourself, then your success will also be big. And here's the good news. No matter who you are, or what you are, or where you are right now, you can start thinking big. You can travel the road to big success.
It has to do with your value and whether or not you have owned it. When you embrace your own personal value, when you are secure in who you are, then you have become a winner.
Most people want simple, direct, straight-line paths to the perfect position and to success. But instead, you must welcome wrong turns and mistakes. They make you aware of your flaws. They widen your experiences. They toughen you up.
Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve, regardless of how many times you may have failed in the past, or how lofty your aims and hopes may be.
Support has arrived.
Trade your expectations for appreciation, and your whole life becomes a miracle.
You are going to need more reactions.
Because all the things you're expecting, if you don't get them, you're upset. But if you don't expect them and you just appreciate what's there, everything's wonderful.
You don't burn out mentally because you always burn out physically. Differential of somebody winning and losing has nothing to do with their genetics. It has nothing to do with their potential. You're gonna feel this soreness you've never felt before. It's supposed to be that way. It means you're using muscles you haven't used before your body's waking up. Sharpening your arsenal for perfection of what you can be. But if you didn't know that, mentally, you didn't prepare for that. You think something's wrong, maybe it's time to stop. No, it's time to move even further. And even though you go to the gym, you pick a time, and you check the box, yeah, I went to the gym, man, all good. You come back around and look in the mirror, man, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it change it. Wow. Well, because you haven't pushed yourself for your body to have a reason to change. If I gave a valiant effort to something, day in, day out, I saw no change, I'd probably quit too. When you embark this journey, you must know that it's going to go down before it comes up. And when it comes up, it's going to go so much higher than you've ever been. Sacrificing today for tomorrow. I couldn't hold myself up. Hit the pavement. I'm okay with that. Because tomorrow I'll get back up and do it again. And I'm going to try to beat my last performance in life. It's not the genetic guy who wins, or the guy with the most potential that wins. It's the person with great perseverance that wins. Always willing to get up and go at it again. Go at it again. That's the guy who has his hand raised later in life. That's the guy you guys need to be. Record everything, what you eat, your training habits, how you feel. You take a picture of yourself on day one, you put it on the mirror. That's who I'll never be again, that's day one, say goodbye to him. Behind that picture, you write down your weight, your height, all your information, your body fat, tape measures around your arms, your waist, your thigh. Record where you've been. When the struggle gets hard, and you feel like you're not going anywhere, you go back to that day one, remeasure it. It's working. It's not an easy path. Days out, man, I'm gonna run a marathon. 90 days out, I'm gonna enter a bodybuilding contest. 90 days out, family reunion, high school reunion, I'm gonna look my best. 90 days to become that person I wanna be. To turn that dream into a reality, I got 90 days. Today is 1/90th of that opportunity. You guys find a fear, that fear will either create you or destroy you. I love fear. The reason why? Behind every fear is a person you want to be. Fear is self-imposed, meaning it doesn't exist. You create it, you can destroy it too. It's an intangible. If you face your fears, guys, you will realize it's not that big. And once you face it, you go, oh my God, I spent all this time running from it. It was so small. If I just faced it, my God, not only did I face it, I beat it back. Energy's never lost. Trust me. That negative energy and fear is destroyed. It comes back in its confidence. Like, what else am I capable of? What else am I holding my back from that I'm capable of more? What am I running from? I don't need to. What else can I overcome? Go after it. You've given all you have. If you lose, at least you tried, man. I failed. It's 10 times more of a man than someone said, what if? Because what if never went to the arena.
Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, do it with everything that you have. Develop the habit of giving more than what you're paid for. Develop the habit of setting standards that others will be measured by. Someone said, do not go where the path may lead, but go where there's no path and leave a trail.
When I say see it, I mean before it even happens. That's what the greats do. Like, they see it before it happens, and then they actually get up every day and create it. I had a vision. Can I tell you something? I told the world, when I say world, I was going to be doing this one day. It's going to be crazy. Success does not require you to look out the window. It only requires that you look in the mirror. I want you guys to look in the mirror if you haven't done it yet. I want you to tell the person in the mirror, this is where we're going to be a year from now, 2 years from now. Just look at the person in the mirror and say, get ready.
You've got to develop a sense of urgency. Aurelia said, stop living your life like you have 1,000 years to live. How much time do you have left? When you start thinking about that, we don't know. To start living life with a sense of urgency and using what we've got. Stop wasting valuable time. Knowing that if we begin to live our lives as if each day were our last, our lives will take on a whole new meaning. If you decide to maintain a sense of integrity with yourself, that if I speak it, I'm going to live it, because I want my life to reflect my words. It's learning the art of becoming single-minded, learning how to concentrate, learning how to focus in. And you'll be surprised at the things that you're able to do. You'll be surprised at the ideas that will come to you, of the people that you'll be able to attract, of the opportunities that you'll be able to see. You'll begin to see things that have been standing there looking you in the face and say, I can't believe this has been here all this time. Most of us do that. Most of us don't use the stuff that we have brought into the universe. I get up in the morning and I start writing what great ideas that I can think of today that can improve me and that will enable me to reach my goal. One idea can change your life.
Look what our just found.
One idea can turn your life around. Deciding that you're going to focus to develop your skill. Most people go through life never discovering what their talents are.
Most people never develop their talents. They have skills and abilities, but if you don't nurture them, if you don't develop them, they will never serve you. Your gifts can take you many places if you develop your gifts. You have something that you brought to the universe, and that if you decide that my life deserves my developing this what I do well, you will always be in control of your destiny.
Oh, no.
The reactant is working on your realm. Find more.
I think the greatest people that have ever been in society, they were never versions of someone else.
So you want to be successful, huh? Well, there's one thing in this world that has the ability to change our whole life in an instant. You know what it is? It's action. So first step, you just need to make a decision. Ask yourself this. A year from now, 5 years from now, what are you going to wish you did today? The secret to getting ahead in this world is first getting started. You can't let fear stand in the way of your dreams. You cannot think, oh, what if this doesn't work? If you believe enough in the process and the end result, success is going to come to you. It will. You just got to be willing to see it through to the end. But first, you just got to jump in the deep end, man. And once something goes into motion, it stays in motion. The process itself feeds the fire. You can't be trapped by fear. Limits like fears, they're illusions. Disregard them. If you're passionate about it and you go full throttle, there's no doubt you're gonna be good at it. Because what makes someone good at something? It's dedication, hard work, and it's doing it with the proper direction and methodology. So if you plug away, you're gonna be good. But what makes someone a professional at something? It's the concept of taking that little idea, that little decision you make, and executing to take it as far as your imagination holds. Dedicating every breath in your body to that single cause. Seeing the grand picture at the end of the road to be the absolute best and not settling for any reason. It's not talent, it's not innate ability. It simply comes down to how hungry you are. How hungry are you to improve? How big is your appetite for success? What are you willing to do to reach your dreams? The professionals, the best at their craft, they don't care about the naysayers. They don't care about the fun they're forgoing. They don't take days off. They are 100% set in their ways in perfecting their craft, because it's all for a much larger purpose than any semblance of happiness that immediate gratification provides. Reaching your goal, well, that's just pure bliss. The higher the expectations, the larger the goal, well, the feeling just magnifies. So what's the difference between you and them? The professionals, they're the ones who are willing to knock on the doors of complete exhaustion every single day. Now let me define exhaustion for you. Exhaustion is at that very point where it's just so damn painful that you just can't push anymore. That it hurts so bad that you can't even think straight. It's in reaching that point when deep down you know that you did absolutely everything in your power. That there wasn't one more thing you could have done. So what's the difference between them and you? What are you doing at this present moment in time? Ask yourself this. Are you moving closer towards your goals, or are you moving further away from them? Are you knocking on those doors of exhaustion, or are you just uncomfortable? You See, being uncomfortable is not exhaustion. Being uncomfortable is your mind quitting before your body. Being uncomfortable is just saying no to trying again. Achieving greatness happens when you're willing to do something that will kill you just to make you better. You see, it's easier to buy the ticket to see the game than it is to be the one to prepare for it. It's easier to hang out with your friends than it is to hang with the stairs for an hour. It's easier to sleep in than it is to wake up to 100 sprints. It's easier to go to a party than it is to go ass to the grass in squats. It's easier to watch athletes from the couch than it is to be the one hoisting the trophy. But it's also a lot easier to look back on your life and know you gave it your all than it is to live with regrets. Not living up to your potential, well, that weighs on your shoulders for a lifetime. No one ever said that being successful was gonna be easy. But I'll tell you one thing, it sure as hell is worth it. You are your own maker in this world, and there is no such thing as failure. You just gotta tell it, no, not this time, not with me. I'm gonna try again and again and again, and I'm gonna look failure straight in the face, and I'm gonna tell it that I'm willing to go through all the struggles to reach my dreams. Because without struggle, there's never gonna be any progress. It's all in how bad you want it. How big is your appetite for success? Do you just want to fight, or are you starving out there for it? Stay empty, stay driven, stay hungry.
I'll tell you how risky life is. You're not going to get out alive.
If you and I are going to live our lives fully, then maybe sometimes we can take the experiences of those around us and learn from them.
Self-confidence also comes from the ability to rise above your circumstance. To rise above what happens, the petty little things, the discouraging things that would sink everyone else's ship except yours. That would cause someone else to quit early in the day, but you keep going. That kind of willingness to overcome all circumstances, whether it's the little challenges or the big challenges. If you're willing to do that, I promise you, that this kind of power will work for you. And in you, the variable, it'll make you.
Let me point out to you that freedom is not something that anybody can be given. Freedom is something people take, and people are as free as they want to be.
Beginning soon.
You gotta look at what makes you do what you do. Everything on earth has a purpose, and you do too. That purpose provides an inner drive that once you tap into it, can give your life immense fulfillment. It will also give you certainty.
Don't ask for security, ask for adventure. Better to live 30 years full of adventure than 100 years safe in the corner. Take full responsibility for what happens to you.
driven by your need to please others, if you're driven by your fear, if you're driven by your past, maybe it's time to free yourself. And the way to do it is decide. Decide consciously what you want your life to be about. Decide consciously what's the purpose of your life. Something simple. Something you can live every single day.
Everyone has two natures. One wants us to advance, and the other wants to pull us back. The one that we cultivate and concentrate on decides what we are at the end. Both natures are trying to gain control. The will alone decides the issue. A man, by one supreme effort of the will, may change his whole career and almost accomplish miracles.
Your opinion of yourself becomes your reality. If you have all these doubts, then no one will believe in you, and everything will go wrong. If you think the opposite will happen. It's that simple.
A man may be very capable, but unless he wills to control his abilities, they will not do him any good. For as stated before, when you learn to control the body, you are gaining control over the mind.
You know, there are many influences on us. One is the influence of the past. Some people are always pulled back by the past. Some people are always pulled aside by the distractions. But here's what's powerful. If you have a list of high purpose in your life, it pulls you toward the future. And the more powerful the purpose is, the stronger it pulls.
You can blame everybody for your problems in life, and you might be right, but you can't change that. Right. What you can change is what you think and how you react, and what power you give other people's actions and thoughts over you.
What is successful and what is failure? The differential are so small. We're talking about seconds. We're talking about, reps. We're talking about the finest echelon of measurement that will make or break someone's life.
It all depends on how you look at it. Our lives are mostly affected by the way we think things are, not the way they are. The way we think they are affects us most.
If you want to be the best, you must be obsessed with it.
Just like you can train your body to improve its physical fitness, you can train your mind to improve your mental fitness, your emotional fitness, your mental toughness. If you don't know who Dan Gable was, he was probably the best athlete coach combo of all time. He went undefeated in high school, and in college, he was undefeated up until his very last match, the NCAA Finals, which is the only loss in his career, which agonizes him to this day. But as revenge, most people would crumble after that, and he was distraught after that, but he mustered up the willpower to become an Olympic. He didn't let up a point in the Olympics while winning 6 straight matches. That will probably never be done again. In coaching, his coaching career, he won 15 NCAA titles out of 21 years coaching. That is unheard of. Anyway, his training was unprecedented and allowed him to carry this mentality over into his coaching career. That's why he was so successful. According to his logs, he hit the Outliers Mastery, which is Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000-hour theory, when he was a freshman in high school.
In total control.
He would run to class with ankle weights on his ankles, and he would have a rope in his hand. During class, he would do isometrics, and he did this every day, not just once. He would train 7 hours a day, 7 days a week. He would push himself to the point where he would
because of the pain. And his teammates said that they had to carry him out of the wrestling. He used to consider his team practices as sort of his warm-up, that he would make the coaches and the heavyweight wrestlers stay after. Lou Bannon, who was one of his wrestlers when he was coaching, who was a national champion, said the toughest part of his collegiate career was waking up at 6 a.m. to wrestle Dan Gable. And this was when he was coaching, wasn't even competing. Ed Bannon tells a story. He was a gold medalist in his own right, but in preparation for the 1984 Olympics, and Gable, who weighed 60 pounds less than him, would get on top of him, right? Because he would say that takedowns were too hard, and just win every time. So he would get on top of me, and I got to try to escape. And Gable would turn him for 45 minutes straight without letting him up once. This was years after he was done competing. His mental toughness, this drive, was just on a whole nother level. He wouldn't lose. See, the mind is at the forefront of how our body reacts to being physically exhausted, physically tired. The mind is our feedback system. So it makes perfect sense that we need to train our mind and get it used to experiencing this fatigue, to being tired, and then it will be able to adapt. So you can control the mind. It's kind of like the Navy SEALs training when they're submerged under cold water, right? They make them lie down on the freezing cold beach until the water just passes over them for hours, to a point where normally most people get hypothermia. But they want them to get used to this feeling so that they don't panic. And so they make them control the reaction instead of letting the reaction control them. So Gable now, he's a motivational speaker now. And he often tells his story during his speeches about why certain people succeed and why others don't. And it's the concept that you're going to give your mind to a cause, regardless of how much pain you will endure. So he says that he was reading the newspaper, and this was like in the 80s, 90s, and he said that he was reading about track and field, and he talked about a 4-minute mile. This was well after Bannister broke the 4-minute mile. But anyway, when he was training in high school in the 60s, he said that there were 3 high school athletes that were running the mile in under 4 minutes. So he said by this point there had to be hundreds of athletes that have run the 4-minute mile in the last like 30 years or so. So he's reading this article and it says no high school athlete in the last 31 years has run the 4-minute mile. And he got appalled by that. He says, I've been in this wrestling room and putting out champions and so on and so forth, and I've been telling them all these things about opportunity. And I've been training them and making sure that they took advantage of the situation and what's going on. And he's like, I couldn't figure it out. And then he said it started clicking, and that not everybody has been on the same wavelength. Not everybody was willing to push themselves to this level mentally. Not everybody was taking advantage of the opportunities that are put in front of them. And so he kept reading the article, and it kept talking about this year's national championship in high school. And it talked about the leader of the race. And it had some quotes in there. And it said that the kid was running, and he only had about 200 yards to go, halfway in the last lap. And he could see a big clock that showed his time, and it showed the 4-minute mile time, and he was 2 seconds ahead of the 4-minute mile time. And all of a sudden, the quote said, I looked over my left shoulder, I saw no one. I looked over my right shoulder, and I saw no one. And I knew I could win the race. I knew that I was on the 4-minute mile track time as well, but I said, you know, I am hurting. I can win the race and slow down, or I can win the race and keep the same pace and break the 4-minute mile. And he says, I think I'll slow down. And he ran in about 4:01 or 4:03. And Gable says, when I read that, I was so bothered. Because again, all my life, with the opportunity that was in front of me, based on everybody that I've been associated with, I took advantage of that opportunity. All my life in the wrestling room, at the University of Iowa, in the Olympic arenas, I've told my athletes and the people that have been associated with me that if there is an opportunity in front of you, you take it. This is one of the best examples I've heard about the mentality that comes with the Bay. They will endure the pain necessary to become great, to become idolized. Would you beat that 4-minute mile time? Or are you going to slow down because it hurts? Even if you slow down, you might win this race. But are you more prepared for the next one? Did you create your legacy? Did you maximize your potential? Did you seize that opportunity that was in front of you? These are just limiting beliefs.
That's it.
I want you to go outside and
Finish
go
your
running.
mission and we'll take a look.
I want you to run 5 miles as fast as you can. And if you don't think you can do it, do it. Run 2.5 miles away from your house without a cell phone or money. You will have no choice but to make it happen. And when you run, you're going to hear a little voice inside you that tells you to quit, especially when you're running really fast. It will tell you to stop running because you have nothing out there that you need to do this. You're not being chased by a lion. You don't need to hunt. Right? But I want you to fight as hard as you can to shut that voice off. You may be uncomfortable at times, but you are not exhausted. Your body can handle so much more than you ever think. Your mind will try to rationalize why you shouldn't do it. Your body is so resilient. But you must control your mind. You must learn to shut off that voice to pass the pain barriers if you want to be successful. Because this voice, like when you're running, will play a huge part in your life forever moving forward. When you're doing your schoolwork, when you're working on the computer, when you're cleaning dishes, we always get a voice that comes in and says, stop and take a break. You've had enough. When we learn to shut that voice of doubt off, when we run or lift weights, we can learn to shut that voice off during any activity. Next time when you're writing your essay, you won't have to take a break after the first page. You'll knock everything out in one sitting. Because you will be able to shut off that voice that's telling you to quit. See, there's two voices that come on. There's one that says, quit, 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 like you can't handle this anymore, you need to take a break. And there's another voice that's really tiny that says, I can do it, but it's small, right? But imagine 2 knobs, like volume knobs on each one. And I want you to take this big voice of these fears, doubts, and I want you to turn them all the way down. And then this little voice that says you can, and turn them all the way up, because you can do it. And the more you practice this, the better you will become at it. Until you're on a level of the Dan Gable. If you keep doing it every single day, keep shutting down this voice, the easier it will be to fight through those pain barriers. And you will improve your threshold for tolerating pain like those Navy SEALs. Things that used to seem hard for you will be a cakewalk if you keep pushing and you keep suppressing that voice that tells you to quit. You can handle it. You are more than capable.
Today, not only have we decoded the enemy transmissions, we've also disrupted their communications.
So overwhelmed. optics and systems, blueprint, chassis, blueprint, chassis, systems. Is it really just a systems Tomlinson? Chassis on the systems anyway.